Hey everyone, now let's go over question number 2A of the Big C 2024 mathematics question paper. Now in this question we are given with two datasets being urban and rural, and we are asked to find the coefficient of correlation between these two datasets of energy consumptions. Now whenever we are given two types of datasets in a statistics question, we can use a very powerful formula called the Pearson's coefficient correlation formula, which is basically n, which is a number of pairs. We have 5 pairs, and summation of x times y minus summation of x summation of y, or divided by whole root of n summation of x square minus summation of x whole square, again brackets, and times n summation of y square minus summation of y whole square. Now, although this looks very lengthy and very difficult, it's actually quite easy after we add all the values in. So let's get all the values first. So let's denote urban as x and rural as y. We can see that we have x and y, and what else we need is x times y as well as x square and y square. So let's just find x. Let's just find for x square first of all. So x square is basically squaring each values of x data set. So 98.6 square, we will get 9,721.96 after we put this in the calculator. Similarly, let's do it for all this data. So 0.3 whole square, we will get 0.09. For 0.3, again we get 0.09. For 1.8, we will get 1.69. And finally, for 92.4, we will get 8,537.76. Now we have solved for x square. Now let's do it for the next value, which is y square. Let's solve for y square. Now, similarly like x square, we have to just square the y values in the y dataset. So again, 95.8 square, we get 9,177.64. Again, similarly, for 1.3, we get 1.69. Oh, sorry. For the square of 1.8 will be 3.24. So it's not 1.69. Sorry, 3.24. 3.24. And now let's finally solve for 79.8, and we will solve for 12.9, and we'll get 166.41. Again, for 1.3, we'll get 1.69. And finally, for 79.8, we will get 6,368.04. And for the final value, we need x times y. So for x times y, we basically multiply the x value with the y value. So 95.8 times 98.6, we will get 9,445.88. And when we multiply 0.3 by 1.3, we will get 0.39. Again, similarly, let's do it for these two data sets. So these two pair of data, we will get 3.87. Again, similarly, we will get 2.34. And finally, we will get 7,373.52. Now, once we have all the data, we need to know that we're not finding for individual data. We need to find the sum of data so we can input in this formula. So the sum of x value would be, so we just need to add all of this data. So the sum of x value would be 193.4. Similarly, the sum of y data would be 191.1. Again, similarly, for the x square, we will get 18,263.14. For the y value, we will get 15,715.47. And lastly, for the x times y dataset, we will get 16,826. Now we have all the data we need to find the coefficient or correlation of coefficients. Sorry, coefficient. Sorry, Matu asgush. Okay, now we have all the data we need to find the correlation coefficient. Now all we have to do is just input this value in the formula and we will get our answer. So n is 5 because we have 5 pairs of data. So we just basically write n as 5. And the summation of x times y we have here, which is 16,826. 826 minus, again, similarly, summation of x times summation of y, which is basically 193.4 times 191.1. Now whole divided by, again, square root of n times summation of x, sorry, n is 5. So 5 times summation of x squared, which is 18,263.14 minus summation of x whole square. So summation of x is 193.4 whole square. Now whole bracket minus so times multiplied by 5 times summation of y square, which is 15,715.47 minus summation of y whole square. So summation of y is 191 whole square. 0.1 whole square. Now, after we input all this value in the calculator, we will get the answer, or we will get the final answer. Now, let's go over question number 2b of the BHSEC 2024 mathematics paper. This question is a word problem, and it asks us to find the amount of money each person has. Now, first and foremost, let's declare the variables. Now, let's say the amount of money Kinle has is x, and similarly, the amount of money Dema has is y, and the amount of money Lakshmi has is z. Now, the question says that Kinle, Dema, and Lakshmi has a sum total of neutron 284. So, Kinle x plus Dema y plus Lakshmi z has a sum total of neutron 284. The question also says that Dema has 1/3 of what Kinle has. So Dema has 1/3. Dema y has 1/3 of Kinle. So 1/3 of x Kinle. So now let's write this in standard form. So we basically cross multiply this. So we get 3y. Take to the other side. We have x minus 3y equals to 0. We just simply cross multiply this and we just took y to the other side. Now the question also states that Lakshmi has neutron 24 more than Dema. So Lakshmi Z has neutron 24 more than Dema. So Dema Y. Again, let's make this into standard form. We have, again, take the y to the other side. So we have Z minus y equals to 24. Now we have three equations. So Z minus y equals 24. Then we have x minus 3y equals 0 and x plus y plus z is 284. Now let's write this equation in terms of matrix. So matrix A times x equals to B. So the coefficient now for the first matrix, 3 by 3 matrix, we'll take the coefficient of each variable. So in the first equation we have 1, 1, 1, the coefficient of each variable. So the first matrix, first row is 1, 1, 1. The second row will have x value 1, y value -3, and the z coefficient is 0 since z is 0. So the coefficient of z is 0. And in the last row we have x coefficient as 0, y as -1, and z as 1. Now next we have the variable matrix. So x, y, and z. And finally we have the constants. So it's 284, 0, and 24. Now we will solve this matrix as we solve any other equation by taking this to the other side. So similarly, we take this to the other side, we would get x variable equals to A inverse B. Similarly, we will need to find the inverse of this matrix. And we all know that the inverse of matrix is 1 over the determinant of the matrix times the adjoint of the matrix. So first, let's find the determinant of the matrix. And we'll use one shortcut method known as the Cyrus rule. So first, we just write down this matrix to find the determinant of this matrix. So first, we write down the matrix, which is 1, 1, 1, 1, negative 3, 0, and 0, negative 1, 1. Now we add two more columns, which is just the first two columns. So we write down these two columns once again. So 1, 1, 0, and 1, negative 3, 1. Sorry, negative 1. Now in this shortcut method, we just basically add all the diagonals, the diagonals going from right, and subtract them by diagonals going from left. So this is one diagonal, so negative 3. This is one diagonal. This is another diagonal, and this is another diagonal. So we just multiply this diagonal. We have 1 times negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, and we add it to this diagonal. So 1 times 0 is 0, so plus 0, plus again we add to this diagonal. So 1 times negative 1 is plus negative 1, and we subtract it by the diagonals going from left to right. So first from left to right, and second one subtracted from right to left, so from here this side. So this is one diagonal. So 1 times 1 is 1, plus this is another diagonal. So 1 times 0 is 0, so plus 0, plus, and this is the final diagonal. So 1 times 3 times 0 is 0. So we have, so negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4, minus 1 is negative 5. So we have the determinant of this matrix as negative 5. And one interesting thing is, since we get a negative 5, this means that the xy will have a unique solution. If you get 0 as the determinant, it means there can be infinitely many solutions as well as no solution. So since we didn't get 0, there will be a unique solution to this problem. Now, since we have found the determinant, now let's find the adjoint. Now, adjoint of A is basically the transpose of cofactor. So it's cofactor transposed. So now we have find the cofactor of this matrix. So let's find the cofactor first. To find the cofactor of this matrix, we will use a similar method to the one we used before. So first we write down this matrix. So we use a grid method. So 1, 1, 0, 1, negative 3, negative 1, and 1, 0, 1. So 1, 0, 1. Now again we add two more columns, which is similar to the first two columns. So we basically write this down again. 1, 1, 0, 1, negative 3, 1, negative 1. And now we add two more rows, which is basically the first two rows. So we add these two. So it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1, negative 3, 0, 1, negative 3. Now we just make a small table here, and then we find the matrix of each square. So determinant of each square as we would by a 2 by 2 matrix. So this is a 2 by 2 matrix. So we find the determinant of this matrix. So AD minus BC. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 3 minus 0. So first element is negative 3. Now this one will also become a 2 by 2 matrix. So we find the determinant of this matrix. So it's 0, 0, 0 is 0, minus 1 is negative 1. And similarly, this makes a 2 by 2 matrix. So 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, minus 0 is negative 1. Now we do it for all 2 by 2 matrix we find in this small table we have. So negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, minus 1 is negative 2. And again, this is another matrix. So 1 times 1 is 1, minus 0 is 1. And finally here, 0 times 1 is 0, minus negative 1 is positive 1. Negative is positive. And we also do similarly for this matrix. So 1 times 0 is 0, minus 3 is positive 3. Minus negative 3, so positive 3. And again, 1 times 1, 1, minus 0 is 1. So again, negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. And we have the cofactor. And we have the cofactor. Now we know the adjoint is the transpose of this cofactor. So we also need to transpose this. So we get transpose basically shifting the rows and the columns. So rows becomes columns. So negative 3, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, 1, 1, row this becomes column, and 3, 1, negative 4. And we have the adjoint. Now we have everything we need to find the inverse. So we have the determinant as well as the adjoint of this matrix. So now let's find the inverse. Now we have the cofactor. This is the cofactor. That is the adjoint. Now let's find the A inverse. So inverse of this matrix. So inverse of that matrix is 1 over determinant. The determinant we find is 1 over 5 times adjoint of A. So 1 over 5 times adjoint. So this is the inverse. So negative 3, negative 2, 3, negative 1, 1, 1, negative 1, 1, negative 4. Now since we have the inverse, we basically need to multiply it by the constant to get our variable. So we multiply it by the constant. So this is the constant matrix. So we just multiply it. So 2, 8, 4, and 0, and 24. Now let's multiply these two matrices. So with these two matrices, we just need to multiply rows times columns. So we basically have negative 3 times 284, which will 5. So negative 3 times 284, which will amount to negative 850, 852. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 0, plus 3 times 24 is 72. So 72. And similarly, we do it for this 0. So we similarly do it for this. So this becomes 2 negative, so second row times this column. So it will become negative 28, 28, or is 52. It will become negative. So this will become negative 260. This will basically get negative 260, and we similarly do it for the last row. So negative 1 times 284, 0 minus, we will get negative 3. We will get negative 380. So if you simplify it further, we will have 1 over 5. So this is another part. So 1 over 5. 1 over negative 5 times. So this if you calculate this, you will get negative 280. If you calculate this, negative 260. And last we get negative 380. We get negative 360. So we will get final answer as, so now we just need to divide each element by 5, negative 5. So we will get, okay, let's pause it on the pause. Now if we calculate this, operation calculator, we will get over 5, we will get negative 7, we get negative 780, negative 780, then negative 260, and negative 380. Okay, so now we divide each element in this matrix by negative 5, and we will get final answer as, so x, so variable x, y, c is equal to, so negative 10 is divided by 5, we will get 156, and negative 5 divided by, negative 260 divided by 5, we will get 52, and for the last element, we will get 76. Hence, we have x, y, and z. So, hence, Kinle, Dhamma, and Lakshmi have. So Kinle is x. So neutral 156. Neutral 156. Neutral 52. So Dhamma is y 52. And Lakshmi is neutral 76 respectively. Thank you.
Moving on to the next question, we will be solving question number 3a from section B. So the question says, find the equation for the bisector of angles of the pair of lines perpendicular to the lines negative 2x squared plus 5xy plus y squared is equals to 0. So before we move on finding the bisector of angles, we first have to find the pair of lines that is perpendicular to the given equation over here. So if this is the given line of equation, then its perpendicular line, the formula to solve this would be, you just have to switch A and B and then change the sign of 2h over here. So what we are going to do is, we're going to write down 2x squared plus 5xy plus y squared is equals to 0. This is A and this is the B constant. So what we are going to do is we're going to switch it. So here the constant is 1. So and then we have to change the sign of 2h, 5xy, and then plus the B constant, the A constant, y squared is equals to 0. So if you were to rewrite it, minus 2y squared is equals to 0 is our equation for the pair of lines that is perpendicular. Now, if we were to find the bisector of the angles, first let's draw a visual representation. So, if this is equation number 1, then the line that is perpendicular to this pair of lines would be somewhat like this. So, we have to find the bisector of this particular equation. That's equation number 2, and this is equation number 2. So the bisector formula, we calculate it using this formula over here. So x squared minus y squared divided by a minus b is equals to xy divided by h. So we have to again list it down. So variable the constant a is equals to 1, constant b is equals to negative 2, and 2h over here is equal to negative 5. So we only need h here. So let's take 2 to the other side, negative 5 by 2. Now let's replace the values. Squared divided by 1 minus negative 2 is equals to xy divided by, and the h constant here is negative 5 by 2. And if we were to simplify, x squared minus y squared divided by 1 plus 2, that's 3, is equals to xy divided by, so if you were to reciprocal, 2 by 5, and you have a negative sign. So let's cross multiply. 5x squared minus 5y squared is equals to 3 2 is 6, negative 6xy. So let's take this to the other side. So it would be 5x squared plus 6xy minus 5y squared is equals to 0. So this is the equation for the bisector of the angle of the pair of lines that is perpendicular to this. So this is our final answer. Moving on to the next question. Kinley constructed an open tank with a square base of side x meter and height h meter to store 4 cubic meter of water. So from here we can understand that the open tank has a storing capacity of volume 4 cubic meter. And if we were to write down the formula for the volume, so it's the area of the base, that's x squared, square area, times the height, which is equal to 4 cubic meter. So now the question asks us about calculating the minimum cost incurred if a liter of paint costs Newton 350, which can paint an area of 3 meters squared. So therefore, he wants to paint the interior walls of the paint. So therefore, we have to find the total surface area of the open tank first. So x squared plus 4x. So this is the area of the base. And then we have 4 lateral side over here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Whereas for the lid, we are excluding it because it's an open tank. So this is the surface area. Now we want to make an equation such that it has only one variable. So therefore, we're going to write h in terms of x. 4 by x squared. X squared plus 4x times 4 by squared. Cancels. X squared plus 16 by x. This is our total surface area of the open tank. Now, when we are dealing with questions of minimum and maximum, we always use differentiation to solve it. So let's differentiate the area with respect to x, which is equals to 2x plus 16 negative 1 by x squared. So when we are differentiating a reciprocal, d by dx of 1 by f of x, what we do is put a negative and then we differentiate the function first, and then we square the function. And then we square the function. This is how we solve it. Now we equate it to 0 so we can find the point of x to see if it's minimum or maximum. Therefore 2x minus 16 by x squared. This is our first order of differentiation. Taking this to the left side is equals to 2x. 2 ones are 2, 2 is 16, so 8 is equals to x cube, which means that x is cube root of 8, that is equals to 2. So for x is equals to 2, to check whether it's minimum or maximum, we're going to differentiate it again. So we're going to find the second order of differentiation. So let's find it over here. Squared a by dx squared. Second order is equals to, so we are going to be differentiating this 2 minus 16. So let's differentiate this function. That's equals to negative 2x, negative sign, 2x divided by, and we are going to be squaring x squared, that's x to the power 4. So x3, x cancels, 2 minus negative, negative, positive. 16 times 2 is equals to 32 divided by x cubed. This is the second order of differentiation. Now we plug in the value of x to see if the value is greater or lesser than 0. So it's equals to 2 plus 32 divided by 8, and we get the value as 6. So because we get the value as 6, the second order differentiation is greater than 0, which means that it is minimum. We have verified that it's minimum. Now we will proceed with substituting this value of x in this equation so that we can calculate the total surface area. The total surface area is 4 plus 16 divided by 2, that's 8. We get 12 meters square. So this is the total surface area. Now in the question, the third sentence says, what would be the minimum cost incurred if a liter of paint costs Newton 350, which can paint an area of 3 meters square, which means that 1 liter is equals to 3 meters square. And to paint this much, the cost incurred is Newton 350. Now our total surface area is 12, which means that our volume would be 12 divided by 3, which is equals to 4. So volume is 4 liter. So if 1 liter costs Newton 350, then 4 liter would cost 350 times 4, which is equals to Newton 1400. So this would be the minimum cost incurred. So this is our answer. Thank you.